the next day we get a couple calls from this guy, but it was like 2 different numbers. He emailed, he texted, he booked more appointments online. Was really insisting that our esthetician and anybody else would go to his studio that he was renting out for the weekend. It got really weird, really quick.
It sounds super creepy.
Yeah. And I was like,
you might get abducted.
Yeah, that's what we said. We're like, girl, you're going to get sex trafficked.
This is MedSpa Mayhem, the podcast all about the chaotic world of medical aesthetics. From Botox to lasers to IV bars, learn how to tell real versus fake, legal versus illegal, and safe versus potentially deadly. Hear the crazy stories inside the med spa world and find out what questions to ask and how to spot the people cutting corners. I'm your host, Dr. Kate D. Together, we explore the wild west of medicine that is the aesthetics industry. Hi, this is Dr. Kate D, and I am talking today with Krystine Sherwood. She is a salon and spa owner and life coach and host of her own podcast, the BeautyPro Podcast. She is from Florida. She did her undergraduate degree, 2 separate degrees, a bachelor's in public relations and also a bachelor of science in political science, and then parlayed all of that into a successful salon business. So first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to talk all about the ins and outs of salons and spas and share some crazy stories. I really appreciate your being on the podcast today.
So much for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I have grown up in the beauty industry for sure. So I'm excited to talk about all the things.
Yeah, well, and so we should mention that I recently did an interview with you on your podcast, which hasn't aired yet. So that'll be upcoming kind of early 25, right?
Yep,
2025. Yep. So that was super fun, by the way. I loved our conversation. That's why you're here today. I think we have a lot to talk about. So I was hoping you could tell our listeners how you ended up in the salon business and because that's really a great story. So Can you talk about how you grew up in the industry?
Absolutely. So as Kate was talking about, yes, I am a certified life coach, internationally certified. I own a salon and spa with my mom actually in Florida. I did go to the University of North Florida for public relations as well as political science, and I got that dual degree. And growing up in the beauty industry, I had always said, I was like, no, I'm going to be a lawyer. And then I was like, no, I'm going to be an ophthalmologist. And then I said, no, I'm going to be back to a lawyer. And it was always back and forth, because in my mind, I said, you know what? I am going to take care of the fam, right? I'm going to take care of the family. I'm going to make a lot of money and we're going to get it done, right? And then I experienced my first hair and skin show, which is from the Premier Beauty Group, which happens every year in Orlando. And it is this huge educational experience for beauty and barber pros. They have a med spa side. They have the skin. It's like amazing. And then of course there's all this shopping. And that my first experience with that was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? These are not my people. Everybody is so happy. And what the heck is happening? It was just like one big party. Every vendor had their stereo system and they're promoting their brand. And then the minute you cross the line into the skincare, everybody is zen and they are chill. And I was like, what is happening right now? And then I went back to school.
Just the fact that people were happy. Yeah. I mean, it was like positive and fun and happy.
I went with my mom.
You think there aren't any happy lawyers out there? I mean,
they're stressed out.
They're a bit stressed out. I know. I have to say, every pretty much every one of my college friends became a lawyer. And I can't say that most of them are practicing law still, but it was, yeah,
Exactly. And
common
I was
point.
like, I mean, I took my LSAT. I was getting ready to go into law
Mm.
school. And then I was like, yeah, I can't do this. I'm not going to do it. I'm not.
You
And
know
so
what's
then,
funny is that's what hooked me. I mean, I did medicine for a really long time, but
yeah.
one day in aesthetics, and I'm like, oh my God, everyone's happy over here.
Yeah,
Big
they're all
influence.
happy and they are making money. Okay. And the thing is, I went with my mom who is the hairdresser in the family, and I saw her in a completely different light.
Mm.
She was like a kid in a candy store, so excited, and I was like, I'm just going to be silent. I'm just going to let her take the lead. I'm not going to argue. I remember saying this. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to want to do anything that I want to do. This is about her. I'm going to let her shine. And so
How
that
old
was,
were you at that point?
I must have been maybe like 15 years old,
Oh, okay. So
but
still very young.
I was still very young.
And full on into the part where you argue with your mom all the time. So you're deciding you're gonna be quiet was really significant.
Yeah, exactly. I was 15 at the time, but I always looked more mature and I was working in the salon anyways. I was always answering the phones, always sweeping the floors, always there. And yeah, that was the pivotal moment in my life. And then when I finished university, I decided, I'll just go back home. I'll find myself, right?
Mm.
And then I found myself in the family business and I'm thinking, oh my God, what is happening? The marketing is a wreck. We have to get so much organized with our like accountant and stuff, like the legal part of what we're doing. We got to make sure that we are covered. Everything I went to school for just kind of culminated into the beauty world. And then now I have found myself really leading our salon and our spa and training and recruiting and hiring and firing and all these things. And I've learned a lot and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that I am not a lawyer and I am not a doctor and I am not those things. I am very happy.
Well, that's fantastic. So you've been pretty much on the business side
Yeah.
of your family business and help
Yes.
to grow that and help it to thrive. And meanwhile, also being a life coach and having the podcast. What
Mhm.
made you decide to start a podcast?
So I was actually on another podcast. I was on several and I was really getting the name out there that I am an internationally certified life and business coach for beauty and barber pros. I can do this. I can help you with the wellness part of what we do because people are
Mhm.
very draining, right? And I found and a friend of mine who had actually come to the salon to give a class. She messaged